You said Tom Brady MVP?
I think it's a three-headed monster at the moment.
Who's the three? If you don't fucking say his name,
I'll
you're
say
done.
it. It's Kyler Murray, Tom Brady, and Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert, baby. Let's go.
There's no... look, man. Second-year quarterback. Like, it's just one of those things, man, where these quarterbacks take the biggest jump from the first year to the second year, and you put all the right pieces around them. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams on a contract here. You've been talking about it nonstop.
Getting these tight ends involved,
I
too.
love Parham. I love that guy. Shout out Rick Rosen, by the way. During fantasy draft, mock draft season, early in the season, my strategy this year was to not reach for a tight end. I literally waited until like the very end of the draft, and he was throwing me Parham's name in August. So shouts to him. And they still have Jared Cook there, who's no slouch either. To your point, they bring over the free agent center.
Yeah. They've hit a grand slam with Slater.
Austin Eckler is a monster.
So Slater asked during the game, there was one play where Myles Garrett hit him with a spin move. And Slater went to the coaching staff and said, don't give me any chip blocks. Like, don't have running backs help me out. Apparently, I didn't know this. I saw some running backs, like former players say, and offensive linemen say, yeah, when a running back chips, it doesn't really help the tackle. You would think it does. The tight end chip is different because he's on the line with him, whereas the running back is coming from the backfield. Okay. Right? So he gets beat on that sack, first sack that he gives up all year, and then just completely shuts down Myles Garrett.
Nice.
So you look at that. You look at the draft classes that the Chargers have had the last 2 years. You find Herbert, which automatically, if you find the quarterback, to me that's an A+ grade.
Yes.
I talked about it last year with the Dolphins, the Bengals, and the Chargers when they took quarterbacks. To me, all the graph rating stuff, you know how I feel about that. I feel like it's kind of lame. It just allows us to create content. I do it too. It's not the most exciting thing that I get behind, right? Because it's an unknown, bro. We don't know. Like, we all have bad calls. It's the draft process. You know what I mean? So if you hit on your quarterback, A+ grade for me. Now, they get Herbert, right? And then you look, they get Slater, franchise left tackle, Asante Samuel Jr., balling in the secondary. And now for me, my question to you is, what makes those three guys the MVP for you? Do you weigh preseason expectations, who they've played? Are you a numbers guy? Like, what goes into you saying those three are the MVP? Because I don't disagree. I think those three guys are the leading candidates for MVP. And I'd say Josh Allen is like an arm's reach away from that last guy.
Yeah.
And also, like, right now, bro, I hate to say this, but I'd probably bet him to win MVP.
Josh Allen.
Bro, their schedule.
The Bills are going to go. They'll probably win.
They have
lose
5 more games in the division.
Yeah, they'll probably lose 2 more games the rest of the year, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think it's obviously individual performance, statistics, so on and so forth, but also in relation and in comparison to how much you do for your team. If you're surrounded by blue chippers, and this is kind of maybe the example for Brady, he's got studs all around him, right? Like, would you argue Herbert's doing more with less? Oh, he has great weapons around him too, though. And so is Kyler is the one where, like, other than the receivers, I take all of that into consideration.
Right. Man, that's a great question, because I would say I think the Chargers and the Bucks, like, the Chargers have a better running game.
Yeah.
With Gronk, I would give the edge to the Bucks having a better roster. I mean, dude, Antonio Brown is
offense, skill guys, you mean?
Yeah, I'm talking about just skill guys, right? I mean, bro, AB is still a savage.
He's a number 2, easy anywhere else. Easy.
Yo,
I can't even argue he's a 1, right?
I think he's a 1 still, man. Dude is
Yeah.
such a baller. But it's just like he had all the shit happening off the field. He was a distraction, all these issues popping up left and right, where people were just tired of his character and his act. But the player was never the issue.
Yeah.
And he goes to Brady, and he leads the team in targets, and he's missed a game.
Yeah.
So I would say that I think the Bucks have more skill. Like, Brady's on the most skilled roster.
Yes.
Offensively of the guys we're discussing. But, man, I don't want to shit on the other rosters because I think the Chargers are right up there too. And yo, D Hop hasn't even had that 8 for 160 2 touchdown game yet, and AJ Green's having 100-yard games, and Rondell Moore is making crazy catches. They're using a tight end, Max Williams.
Yeah.
So I think it's fairly close.
And I'll say this: the Bills, the Bills skill guys this year took a step. Zach Moss is playing unreal.
Bro,
Dawson Knox. I mean, he turned it on at the end of last year.
Yeah.
But still, he's really showing out. And obviously, Emmanuel Sanders, the guy that we talked about during the preseason, is scoring. I feel like he's 50 yards and 2 touchdowns or a touchdown every week. To me, Josh Allen is kind of elevating those guys.
That's fair. Dude, all of last year in fantasy, Dawson Knox was like 2 for 8 yards and a touchdown. Like, that's was his stat line.
But now he's doing it in the middle of the field, not just by the goal line.
He's not just a goal line guy, and he just always finds himself open. Who leads the league in touchdowns right now, if you had to guess? Passing.
Brady,
Mahomes.
16.
16. Brady's right behind with 15, and then it's a tie between Dak and Herbert. Passing yards, you are looking at, who would you guess?
Brady.
Brady, yeah. 15 touchdowns to 2 interceptions for Brady. Herbert is 13 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Kyler Murray is 10 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. However, you also got to factor in the rushing stuff with Kyler Murray as well, has multiple touchdowns. Look, it's become very similar to the NBA MVP, where the NBA MVP, I feel like, was a creation by social media to, man, we know it's going to be the Warriors and the Cavs, right? How can we make this season more compelling?
Yeah.
What do? Every week, we're going to talk about MVP. It became the storyline, the narrative.
MVP race.
Yeah. You know, first quarter, second quarter MVP. Not game-wise, but I'm talking about breaking down the season. It became interesting. It became appealing to the casual NBA fan who doesn't watch League Pass like you and I do and other people do and care about Minnesota, Washington.
Yeah.
But they care about scoring and superstars. So you talk about James Harden and Russell Westbrook. You talk about can, Jimmy Butler make a run or Embiid. So the NFL MVP award, to me, has sort of become that as well lately.
And what I think is playing to Herbert's advantage is he's playing at 4 o'clock a lot of the time.
So he's by himself.
Yes.
Wow, that's a good point.
I think that, we all know 1 o'clock red zone. I mean, look, there are some people, and I try to do this when I'm at like other people's houses, is I'll try to watch games. Like there's 3 TVs going. I want to watch the actual game. I don't care if I'm watching 3 at once, because red zone, as awesome and as addicting and as cracky as it is,
you miss a lot.
You miss a lot.
You do, yes.
So there's the subset of people who are only watching red zone, which is fine. I don't blame you, but you're not really watching everything. You know what I mean? And what I have it here. It was madness at 3. What was it? 3:30 on Sunday.
Oh, bro, it was crazy with the missed field goals
all
and
the
shit.
field was
Yeah.
It's like, how could you really, if you're really identifying one of those guys, it's like it's almost impossible.
No, I love that take, bro, because I try my best to have. I have 3 screens up, right?
Yeah.
I got Red Zone on the big TV. I have my laptop. I have Sunday Ticket, so I have like the 4-game screen, and on my phone I'll have the Giants. If the Giants aren't on, I'll put whatever other marquee game is, because Sunday Ticket blacks out the games in New York.
Yeah.
So like I couldn't watch Bengals Packers yesterday. I had to have that shit on my phone. But you're right, dude. It's completely different because, you're showing us that they're inside the 5, but how'd they get there? Did they start at the 2-yard line and he drove them down the field?
100%.
And then there's some times where like he threw a bomb to Mike Williams for 70 yards, and it's like, oh, we didn't see that until after the fact that they scored. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
But that's a good point, man, about him playing at 4 o'clock. And also that game was just fireworks. Came down 13.
Yeah. I mean, I want to talk about the Browns in a second, but I just think what I love about Herbert is kid's got ice in his veins. 6 game-winning drives and 20 starts already. And in his last 3 games, 12 TDs, no picks against the Chiefs, Raiders, and Browns. Now, look, I may, take a dump on the Browns in a second on their defense. Is their defense really as good as we think? That's a conversation for a little bit later. But, dude, some of this stuff is no joke. First player in NFL history to have more than 10 games with 300 passing yards over the first 2 seasons of his career. A lot of this stuff is no joke. And not only is he putting up these stats, but he's also like leading his team to victory in like these crucial moments, which to me is like the mark of a great quarterback. So he's putting the team on his back. You know, granted, he has a lot of these great weapons, but still, he's doing it in crunch time, ice in his veins. It's impressive, man. It really is.
That thought at the bottom of the table, baby.
You getting
Bonered up, bro.
I
I got mad love yesterday. Because, I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. I thought it was going to happen with the Raider game, but it happened yesterday. He was going to have a monster performance, and I think you bring up a good point about it being at 4 o'clock. All the other games were kind of dull, right? Like the Cowboy game was a blowout, right? The other game was Raiders-Bears, kind of a dud. And then
definitely
a dud, yeah. I was trying to be polite. And then the other game was the Niners and the Cardinals.
which was very low scoring as well.
17-10, 17-7, whatever it was. And you see 47-42 fireworks. Browns first team in NFL history to lose a game that they put up 40 points with no turnovers, right? He's down just 398 yards, 5 total touchdowns, game-winning drive. The throw that he made to Keenan Allen, I posted on my Instagram. Oh,
On the sideline?
oh,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. But, the one thing that I worry about them is they still have kicker issues.
Okay.
And they're not really the most disciplined team. A lot of penalties.
The kicker thing I'm not really that worried about.
Yeah, you don't think so?
I mean, they have a coach that
Goes for it on 4th down. Yo, how do you feel about that?
I fucking love.
I love that shit
I
too.
love that shit, and I love that coach, man. I watch all of the
Yeah.
They do the video in the locker room who he gives the
Yeah.
game balls to. I mean, I think I don't remember when we
I posted that too because he's like, we got a guy that the world is starting to realize about. No, bitch, I knew about it. I've been telling you guys.
But the cool thing is like he gives him a lot of credit, but then he also says like, it takes a whole team to do this.
Yeah,
But at
yeah,
the same time, you need a guy at the helm. Like he really knows how to kind of carry a locker room and a lot of that type of team building just scenarios where I think I mentioned it. The guy came from the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
All these small time colleges to finally get to the NFL. I mean, he's relatively young too. This guy's just a whiz. And I mentioned what McVay said. He goes like, I'll be lucky if I have this guy for more than 1 year as my coordinator. And
No, you're right. Like they had I don't know if you might have seen the same clip, but he gave a game ball
to the guy who his wife had a kid.
His wife had a kid, and he's like, "Yo, it's a team effort," And a lot of people like we would have understood. His name was Storm Norton, right? Fire name, right?
Yeah,
Storm Norton.
fire.
It's like, dude, his wife is in labor, just had a kid, and if he wanted to miss this game, we wouldn't say nothing about it. It's like, hey, man, that's like a
Life event.
Yeah, huge. It's the number one life event, right? You have a new child. And he was here with us. And this is what we're building here. We're building a family. We're building a community in here.
Do you want to talk about the Browns real quick, though?
Yo, I put out a tweet. You said Sam Darnold. But
I mean, I got more Darnold stuff, too.
No. We'll get to that in a little bit. Because I know, you Jet fans are crazy. I love it. Because the moment he struggles, you guys are just...
Nah, but I mean, it's the thing is, it's like, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yesterday was rough.
It's the same mistake. It's not... it's not a different mistake. That's the problem.
That was the issue I had with Daniel Jones until this year.
Yeah.
It was the same kind of turnover. It was 6 Mississippi shaking the ball, holding it with one hand. It's like, dude, what are we doing? Yo, Baker Mayfield. There is not a quarterback in the NFL that if I'm betting against, because I had the Chargers -1 in the mega contest, that when the game is on the line and he has the ball, I'm so confident that it's not going to go his way. Happened with the Chiefs. Happened yesterday also. He's fine. I talked about this with Allen. It's fine when you have Baker and they're playing the Texans. They're playing even the Steelers now, how they are with Big Ben. When you have a lesser quarterback, like a Jalen Hurts even, because Hurts is still young, right? Those kind of quarterbacks, it's dope. Baker's fine. But when you're on the field with another stud like that, you just realize, like, damn, man, our guy is just different.
It's fair to point out that in 2 games against AFC contenders this year, Chiefs and Chargers, he had the ball in his hands with a chance to win. He's 0-2. I don't want to, make a huge deal out of it, but a lot of the Browns people that I know say he's been very inconsistent. Is it the injury? Probably. But, I think that, there's something to be said there. Granted, the defense didn't do them any favors yesterday. He's like, this is the 3rd game he's lost in which his team scored 42 points or more. No quarterback in NFL history has had more than one of those losses in his career. He's had 2 already, and he's not even really a veteran. So his defense is not helping him out. And, you know, I have I have one of those, like, analogies, comparisons, one of those wild ones.
Give it to me.
You ready?
Yeah.
So the Browns and the Baker relationship, the Browns to me are like the damaged person who's great, like a great guy, great girl who's just been in bad relationships over the past few years, right? Terrible relationships over and over again. And Baker's like the first like nice guy or girl that they've been with in a really long time. But like, are they settling for someone because of how bad their history has been? Or like, it's just one of those things where it's like, it's been so bad for the Browns that it's like, wow, this is
nice.
This is nice. But
It's still bad news.
In the grand scheme of things, is it actually nice?
I love this. I love that. That was good.
Browns are damaged goods, man. They've been, you know, we've seen the jersey, the Brandon Weedens, the Deshaun Kaiser.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. Like look, for all his flaws, man, he brings you stability there, right? He
Yes.
hasn't missed no games. Plays all the time. Yeah, he's not Mahomes, he's not Herbert, but there's what, the 4 guys like that in the world?
Yeah.
That are on that level. Josh Allen, Herbert, Rodgers, Mahomes. I mean, I said it last week. I was like, I think he's in that tier.
Yeah,
like Herbert already. However, it's not bad if you're like Kirk Cousins. Like Kirk Cousins is fine too.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's dope when the other quarterback is Jared Goff and you have Kirk Cousins, or it's Jimmy G or Ryan Tannehill. But when you want to get to that next step, you're just always going to be at a deficit when you have guys like that.
And just another thing real quick, Baker threw for over 300 yards. Odell had 20.
Man,
It's mind-blowing, head-scratching, you know?
hey, listen, Odell, you asked for this.
Yeah.
You weren't happy with Eli Manning. You weren't happy with the Giants.
Yeah.
Your star isn't as bright as it once was. Like, your star now is the legacy that was left behind from you leaving the Giants.
Yeah. Everything is New York.
Everything was because of New York.
Yeah.
He hasn't really been that same guy.
Yo,
we were having serious combos about like, yo, it's like Julio, D-Hop, him.
No, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then Devontae Adams and Michael Thomas took that next step. But like early on, it's like, yo, this guy's a top receiver.
I still think like if you ask the players, I still think they'll say like he's a top 5 receiver. And he's one of those guys that's respected by,
yeah,
you know?
and a lot of like the fantasy stuff and PFF, it's like he has the most air yards or he has the most like non-catchable passes in which his quarterback just doesn't hit him. Like there was the play against Minnesota, bro. Like that play was a shoo-in 70-yard touchdown. He threw it behind him.
I wanted to actually bring that up. I think I know what happened. You may think I'm wrong, but you played quarterback, so maybe you'll think I'm right.
And I'm on fire lately, dog. So what's up?
That play was to end the game, right? Like if they converted that first down, the game was over.
Right.
What I think Baker was trying to do was to throw the ball in a safe location so that he would catch the ball, go down, and the game was over. Odell wanted to score a touchdown. Both results end the game, but I think Baker's like, why risk throwing a deep ball in the air where something could go wrong instead of, because he threw like
Like a back shoulder.
a back-shouldered laser,
Right.
where I think he was doing that again so that for Odell could catch. Baker was just trying to win the game where Odell was trying to score a touchdown.
Yeah. I hear you. Slight disagree because of how open Odell got.
That's fair.
Right? Like
That's fair.
sometimes it just happens where, yo, you're trying to ice the game, but they just blow a coverage. And you can ice the game
Take
that way
advantage
too.
of it, yeah.
So it's weird. It's a weird dynamic, but there is something there that needs to be figured out. Because Odell still got it, man. Like he's still explosive.
Yeah.
It's just something that's just weird, man. It just doesn't mesh.